Are there green shoots of recovery in the economy at the moment, do you think, James?
I do. I think Shruti Vadera called it too soon, although she was looking at the wholesale money markets when she said it, not at the retail market or the consumer aspect. And the country is still suffering from this severe bout of Robert Pestinitis. I think when that man goes on television and says the recession's over, everybody will go out tomorrow morning and spend, you know. So I think she was right. The little bit of movement about 2 months ago in wholesale money availability, a bit more liquidity in the game, but not that anybody here or me or you would feel. Where I think it's changed for the better is three big stats coming out in March. One, the cash balances of the FTSE 100 have never been higher for 2.5 years. Now the upside of that means that they're hoarding cash, but they can afford to, which means that they're not losing money. Downside of it, that means it's not dribbling down into the supply chain crisis. It doesn't stimulate small business. Second is that selling houses, and we are still a home-owning democracy, and we still have house building as one of the great weather vanes of our economy. And selling houses at anything under $500,000 anywhere in the country, they've had their best year for best month for 18 months. Now that's seriously important, because it means that there's money available to do it as well as an inclination of confidence. And thirdly, manufacturing exporters, driven primarily by weak sterling and therefore cheaper products around the world that are British, manufacturing exporters have had quite a good quarter, not brilliant, but much better than when it fell off the cliff between September and December. The quarter from January through March has been better by a quantum leap. So, out of that, would I say green shoots? Yes. Would I say it's going to get appreciably better during 2009? Certainly not. It's going to be bloody. It's not going to be a pleasant year. But do I think that we're sort of out of the huge fall and we're coming down to sort of the bottom of the hockey stick? Yes, I do. And then it's a slow fall through 2010. So we're not going to go back into, oh, isn't this wonderful? But we are actually, I think, bottoming out in the economy. Do you know, I sat next to a head teacher of a big comprehensive, and she's one of the most successful head teachers in Britain. And there she is, she's going to have a pay rise this year, which most of the country isn't. She's going to get a bonus, and she thoroughly deserves it, because she's turning around a crap comprehensive into a good one. She is probably in the most secure job in Britain. She told me she was on a tracker mortgage, which means that money for her, she's probably got more disposable income in her pocket than she's had for 5 years. And she told me she cancelled the order for the car and they weren't going to have a holiday. And I said, why? She said, because Robert Peston said last night that we're all going to bust. Now, that is a woman who is seriously competent, good in her job, has more money in her hand, and yet
prices are falling.
And prices are falling, so she's also operating in a market where she can do stuff. Why won't she? She has no confidence. Government spending per se is not going to get us out of recession. It's how it's spent and where it's spent. And I would contrast two things. One is the borrowing in and the infusion into the financial sector, which no one wants to have done, but I think the government has done absolutely the right thing. We could have an argument about timing, but I think they did absolutely the right thing. It wasn't where I'd like to be, it's where the nation had to be. Secondly is using government as a procurer and therefore a stimulator of orders, both services and manufactured goods. We actually don't do that well. The procurement process is much better, more sophisticated and mature in France or in Germany. It's not very good in America, by the way. The Anglo-Saxon economies don't do procurement very well. And I don't mean the big capital projects, I mean the routine day-to-day. A lot of waste, a lot of waste. Thirdly is the Hoover Dam. You know, Roosevelt, New Deal, Roosevelt got the Hoover Dam was the symbol of big government spending to create huge employment in America in the middle of the Depression. And that here, upside, it will add to the productivity of the country. You'll get big infrastructure stuff done, and they're doing it, and it's working. Downside is that you don't change the economy in 12 months doing that. That's a 5 to 10 year out, and we have a planning regime that belongs to 1947. And if someone's going to tell me that the greatest spotted toad is so rare in this country that it holds up planning applications, why is it on every building site in the land? That's what I want to know. The clever governor of the Bank of England, the call to make, which God help him, because none of us could make it, and that is the day you put up interest rates, so you don't choke off demand, but you do choke off inflation.
I think it's even worse. Do you worry about the image of business?
I certainly do. Before all of this crisis, you know, some examples. The average employer in Britain does not wear a sheepskin jacket, get in a Rolls Royce, smoke a cigar and shout, "You're fired." And anybody who tells me The Apprentice is anything but entertainment, get real. It is not a business programme. It's not reflective of business either. Secondly, have you ever noticed that whenever a soap opera has ever put a businessman on it, he's always the crook? Yeah. There's only ever been one businessman on The Archers, and he was a crook. In EastEnders, they actually killed one and put him at the bottom of the Thames. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the media always, politicians, media, environmentalists, educationalists, all think business is at it every day. And they don't think that these people here can get wealthy, honestly. And I once asked a group of people at the front, I put up Jean-Pierre Garnier, who was CEO of GlaxoSmithKline, fabulous business, wonderful CEO, stonking great bonus, right? This is before all the bonus stuff just now. And I put a photograph of David Beckham, who, in my knowledge, at national level, has never won anything. And well, he hasn't. Won lots of Manchester United, never won a thing for his country. And I said, can you explain to me why when this guy gets bonuses and everything else, you know, you mind? When the guy from GlaxoSmithKline who's added wealth to this nation gets bonuses, you all want to put him down in 7 tons of lead at the bottom of the river. And this bloke on the front said, well, that's easy. I could do Jean-Pierre Garnier's job any day of the week, I just don't. I couldn't kick a ball like Beckham.